Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL. The MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, and Founder of the Minor Football League. I want to tell everybody I did something great. I took the shot. So I want everybody to know that I went and got the first of 2 shots. So I encourage people to make the decision for yourself. Also, I got my guests on today. I got Dave on today. He just signed with the Washington Chiefs. I got Ken. Ken is here, and I also got Mr. Tate and Keith on. I guess Ken ain't come on yet, but anyway, how y'all doing, gentlemen?
Doing good. Wonderful, Mr. Myles.
Yeah, good.
Or Dr. Myles.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Ken ain't come on. We missing somebody, but that's all right. We're not gonna roll. I know Keith missed the combine. Keith, they was really on top of us. They want to make sure we didn't have nobody in. But I want to thank Dave because he bared with us. We went to the wrong place, but the place they sent it to was really nice. It's just that they kept questioning, how many people. But we had some of the coaches from the Maryland Colts and the Washington Chiefs. They had to be on the field to do the combine. But the people complain we had too many people on there. So, and then I have to say our photographer was taking pictures. He wanted to, so Dave and them run out there. He wanted to get in there himself, I wanted to, that was so funny. Okay. Doctor, let me go ahead to Mr. Tate. Mr. Tate, how you doing, sir? We got this bright young man, the Chiefs, excited about it. Well, that's where he said he wanted to go anyway, and he wanted to go to the Chiefs, and that's what he said. So how do you feel about that, Dave? Let me ask you that first.
I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, the Combine was great last weekend, so I'm looking forward to the season, getting ready to go out there and show our skills.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Myles, I knew he jumped to the champions. I knew what's going on there. But before we get Myles,
he won the ring.
I know, Myles, I know you played a lot of football too, and my days are long past. But Dave Hibner,
yeah.
Excellent. I want to make sure I got that right. Your spelling is very good. We need some neck exercises from you.
Neck exercises?
No, I don't need that. I'm done.
Yeah, you're thick neck anyway, Myles. I know.
Yeah. I used to. Maybe 20, 30 years ago.
And that was the first thing that stuck out in my eyes. I saw nothing but neck in the daggone, in the screen. And Keith took it right out of my head. Like, man, all I'm seeing is neck up there. I don't see no face, no nothing, just neck.
Thanks, Coach. Exactly.
Thick neck.
Well, when we go into gentlemen, because I'm gonna let y'all have a little piece of him and everything. He ran all the drills very well. I'm someone we did have a little problem, but we had that safety, the safety that ran. All the coaches went off out there, didn't they? Because it came up, what was it? 3.540, right? And everybody said, "Oh, that can't be right." What did I say, Dave? I said, "It's right. It's right there." Yeah, but we marked the field with a little short. We had to remark it. But can you imagine running a 3.5?
Only imagine.
Faster than Usain Bolt.
Can you imagine that?
Absolutely not.
Only imagine.
Okay, I'll let you go first. Any questions you want to talk to this young man about? I think we got good young prospect we signed. So, Mr. Tate, I'll let you go first, Coach.
Well, I'll jump right on in. And Dave, I'm certainly was amazed at what I saw from your film. I'm the kind of guy I like to look you up. I'm a research guy. I'm a numbers guy. And what I saw a big guy that was very agile. I mean, there's no doubt that you can go horizontal. You can go from sideline to sideline. But I saw you chasing a small guy down the field. So that means you was running vertical as well. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign. But the key that I also see, not only on the field, but I just see right here in this small example, that you excited to play football. You're an athlete that loves the game. So tell me about that high school experience. When you were playing in high school, was that where you really began to develop the appetite to play football?
It was, I would say, probably my junior and senior year was really when I really wanted to play sports, play football. I was also a volleyball player too. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I actually decided to play volleyball in college. So I think that's where I get my explosiveness from. And so when I was in college, my brother actually had signed with Michigan, the Wolverines, as a tight end, and he's playing there right now. And when I saw that he was getting recruited by D1 colleges and universities and stuff like that, I was like, man, I could really do this. So that was honestly when I thought about going back to football, was when I was playing volleyball in college. So when I graduated and everything, I was trying to look for leagues, looking for ways to get into a professional league, whether it be XFL, Canadian football, the MFL I found luckily in the fall, and hopefully reach the NFL, which is my dream goal. So I love the game of football. My family's a huge football family, so I just want to try to get on with football.
Well, it looks like this massive neck of yours. I got to go back to that because one of the things as coaches at any level, one of the things that we really cue into is the fact of the eyeball test. You passed the eyeball test with flying colors. I mean, there's no doubt that what I saw in high school isn't what I'm seeing now. So what prompted you to really jump into that gym and change your body?
Honestly, my brother and my dad were lifting pretty heavy before he went off to Michigan. And so my volleyball career was winding down, and our season got cut because of COVID in spring last year. So once I was home, because they sent everybody home, I was like, you know what? All I do is just go to school. I might as well start working out again. And so I was probably 230 in the spring of 2020, and I've packed on about 35 pounds of, I would say, mostly muscle. Some of it's a little fat, but can't gain muscle without a little fat. So, but yeah, I love the gym. I love the gym.
Well, trust me, that little fat that you talking about, that'll get trimmed down once the season gets started. But it's just a mere fact that you are a classic example of a young man that's looking for an opportunity to parlay it in order to take advantage not only of your size, but certainly the desire to play at the next level with certainly this appetite for football. And the MFL gives you that opportunity to live out the dream at a level that it's not at the NFL. I mean, everybody want to shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. But clearly you're at a place that this is really going to be a good test for you to really move yourself mentally out of the MFL and say, you know what, I'm ready to really make this sacrifice pay off and go into, you know, another level with this. But even if you just stayed in the MFL gives you so many other choices, because you may play for a few years and then decide you want to be an executive. And I'm sure Dr. Myles has an opportunity for you. I'm sure, you know, while you're playing, that Keith will be more than happy to mentor you and give you some advice. And, you know, certainly give you guidance that will help you to move your life to the next stage. And of course, I'm always going to be here for you to try to not only motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be better every day, so you can make the successful transition off of the football field into the real world, which the football field is the real world, but so many guys just don't know how to make that transition out of sports, whether it is volleyball, whether it is tennis, golf, football, baseball, whatever that sport is. This is just something that they always prepared for. And now all of a sudden you're not there. But the great thing is you went to college. You know, you have the capacity and the ability to learn. And, you know, athletes are told what to do. So you'll be told what to do, but at some point you will be telling someone else what to do. So thank you and welcome to the MFL.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and you know what's so great about this? These are the types of young men that the MFL want. We want people of this magnitude and nature, because we're going to get people that in that overlead to look at you, no question. And as when Keith come on, I mean, linemen is a premium in the NFL. Jamie Dukes and Bobby Wilson will tell you that to hear when you meet with them. I mean, you know, that's something that I think it's been, I don't know, I see what you guys say as well. I think this is, in 10 years, this is the worst that offensive and defensive lines looked. I mean, you had some of them that did really well, but most of the team was beat up. Linemen, offense, defense, they couldn't fill that gap. You know, Keith?
Right. Yeah, Doc, I mean, that's the combative. I mean, that's in the trenches, as the saying goes. I mean, those guys are taking a beating to their body. They're trying to give the other guy a bigger beating, but it's just constant collisions, and the body doesn't like blunt trauma, and that's what it is. It's like being in a car wreck every play, every down, when you're playing either offensive line or defensive line. But that's also part of the reason that the careers get so limited. You mentioned Bobby Wilson, and I covered the Redskins when he was playing, or the team formerly known as the Redskins, and he hurt his back, and it was never the same. So you just never know what's going to take you out of the game that you love so much. Bobby's a sharp guy, and he went on and obviously has been involved with the MFL and a lot of other business ventures. But not everybody gets that wake-up call. Not everybody has a next step for themselves after they play the game of football, because when you're playing football, you think you're going to play it forever, and forever is right now. You just keep going and you keep going, and even some Hall of Famers that I've interviewed and talked with, they didn't know what to do the next day after they were forced to retire from the game. You've got to know what's going on, and the MFL is a developmental league, not just that it develops players, it develops the person. And it gives opportunities that you wouldn't normally get. You're not going to get it in the NFL. Myles and I talk about this all the time, but it's not set up like the NFL. Yes, it's based around football, but that's where it stops. You know, we hear the coaching situations and the hiring prowess and the process and everything in the NFL, and it's every year it gets revisited, and it's in its current stage it's being revisited as we speak. So that's not what the MFL is. The MFL is the laboratory change, but also it's there to give opportunities for people. So, you know, not to step and say that Coach Tate is a mentor or Myles or myself, but that's part of what we do. If you could help somebody along the way, especially around this great game, well, why wouldn't you? My question to you, Dave, is why are you not playing at another level, and how are you available? Those are my questions. This is what I'll let you know. This is what Commissioner Myles does. He finds gems like you, and I don't mean to call you a rock, but he'll polish you up. He'll polish you up and make you a gem, along with Coach Tate and other people. And the likelihood is you do have then the opportunity to play in a league like the NFL, if you so choose. Maybe you like Coach Tate was saying, maybe you find that different path, administration-wise, or GM or assistant GM, things like that. The front office stuff intrigues you a lot. It happens all the time. Martin Mayhew, who recently joined the Washington NFL franchise, he was playing for the team when I covered him as well, and a sharp guy because there are guys out there that are as good above the neck as they are below the neck, but not everybody can say that. So how did you become available?
So like I said, in college I was playing volleyball, so I wasn't playing football. No one was really getting any film or anything on me. So I only had my high school film, and I had a few like D1 AA, like BMI, Davidson, other schools like that. But I was more looking for academics. So whichever school I thought was academically the best for me, that's what I went with. And so Juniata is where I went, and that was a volleyball school for me. So I played volleyball there. But after I graduated, like I said, I wanted to try to play football again. So I know I can't just go straight into like an NFL draft class or get into the NFL combine or even a regional combine without any college experience in football. So I thought that I would try to find maybe a semi-pro league or like not a lower level, but I would say not as well known league, like the XFL or the Canadian Football League, and now like the MFL. So when I saw the MFL and I talked with Dr. Myles, it was a really cool opportunity to actually talk to him when I first registered. And that's what really hooked me in first, that I knew that there was an actual person behind the screen that I was looking at. So that was really like made me feel good. And when I was looking at these other leagues, I couldn't really reach a person to talk to about it. So that's why I really wanted to stick with MFL. It seemed like a good place for me and a good place where I can still play football. So that's my long reason why.
No, that's good. So he's an untapped football talent, is what I heard, and Magic Myles is at it again. The Pied Piper gets people to follow him, and this is what happens, and it keeps going and going. So so Myles, you got a project. You had a guy that has a total clue, a guy that as Coach Tate and I noticed, that there is something above the neck now that we listen to him speak a little bit. But I mean, these are the kind of guys, the kind of gems that you always seem to find one way or another, Myles.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show you why there is a need for minor league football. The semi-pro stuff needs to just go away, which it is going away, because they're not protecting these guys. This guy right here, I guarantee you, the 1st of April, I'm sorry, this kid going to end up in an NFL camp. We're going to see to it because, as you know, I have connections all around in that other league, and I know guys that scout, and Jamie Duke's here, Bobby Wilson here, and we're going to make sure, as it was with all our guys we had, we're going to get them a look. We're going to get them over there for them to take a look. Now, all we can do is take you to the dance. It's up to you now. You gotta dance now. We're going to take you. But it just goes to show you that why it's so important that the NFL, the laboratory of change, get these young men in and give them an opportunity. And I say it all the time. You know that, Mr. Tate. It's not just you're not good enough to play in the NFL. It's not enough room. And you got to also be mindful of out of sight, out of mind. If they can't see you, they don't know about you, right, Mr. Tate?
Absolutely.
So we're going to put you on a platform where everybody's going to see you. They can't help them seeing you. They can't deny, you can't see it unless you Ray Charles and you have to feel your way. There's no reason that a guy 6'6", 265, and I don't have the paperwork with me. He did real good in the 40, the agility drills and stuff. This guy can move, and that's what you want. You want people that are able to move laterally. You want people to be agile and hostile. You know what I mean? Mobile. That's the key to it. And, looking at this young man and these other young men we're going to be bringing on periodically while we get ready to go in camp, that what makes me excited and let people know that the MFL is here, Mr. Tate, and why is a need for it.
Well, you and Keith say, some very, very interesting things. And I want to say to our listeners, our viewers, that this David is a classic example of a young man who, as Keith said, Dr. Myles out here mining, and trying to find some gold. And he finds, as an example right now, a piece of gold. And so here's what I say in terms of being a coach for the past 35 years in various different types of sports. And one of the keys that your listeners have to understand as well is that this is just not about the MFL. This broadcast is about an opportunity to learn something from us and take it away and use this with your young son who has the potential. But with that said, one of the things I tell my players all the time, the body follows the mind. The mind doesn't follow the body. If David decides to put in the work, see, one thing about the world that we live in, the average size is the average height of men in the United States or in the world is 5'7". David happens to be in a area of height that when we say linemen are premium, it's a premium. Everybody is not his height and his size. So you talking about a young man
able to move
and can move. So you talking about a young man who, even if he could move, if his mind is really focused and his body follows his mind because he really wants to take advantage of a space that he is uniquely occupying, that means that this young man has all the potential in the world to go to the NFL. Our job, so the others who are listening, our job is to get you here and to help to move you to the NFL. Our job is not to keep you here. We don't want to keep you here. We want to give you the opportunity that the NFL didn't give you. We want to bring you in here and, as Keith say, buff you up like a diamond, get you going, and send you on your way. Now, if on your way means you take and make a turn somewhere and say, well, you know what? I want to get into the administrative aspect of the MFL management side. So that's fine. But as a player, the MFL gives young men like David this opportunity that the world is like a pearl to him right now. I mean, he just opened up an oyster and it's on him to take the pearl out of, because we're going to pour into a young man like David. We're going to pour into all the young men who want to be athletes, and pouring into them is that mentoring piece. Dr. Myles has played in the NFL. Keith, he has a lot of experience around it. I have a lot of experience with. You got three grown men who not only have the experience, but we have the appetite to try to pour into these young men to get them to make that transition to the next level in life. And whether that next level is professional football or not, what we are doing here, and as Keith says, that battle cry that Dr. Myles talk about all the time, the laboratory of change. Well, we're going to change this young man, some form or shape. You're going to get changed, David, if you come in with the right mindset, and there's no doubt that your personality reflects that. We're going to pour into you and help you to make that transition, because that key that I'm talking about, when we use words like linemen are a premium, I mean, hey, look, there have been, I was trying to think of the number, but I know that there have been several guys in the NFL that did not play college football. They didn't play no college football. It's several guys. So let's get that out the way. Well,
Eric Swan for one.
Okay. So
Riley Cox.
Absolutely. So let's get that out of the way. And then you got a number of foreign players that come to the United States and they go to Power 5 schools and never played football. They're in their country. They come here and they make the transition because of what? Their mind. Their mind. Their body is following their mind and they're saying, I can do this. You pour in the effort and the commitment, the MFL is going to be behind you 101%. We're going above. Some people say 110, 120. No, I'm going to be real nice and just say 1% over. We're going to go above and beyond with all of our players. It's not just you, but it's somebody that's going to be looking at you and you have an opportunity to be the quintessential example of a young man that came through the MFL and was able to live out his dream.
Keith?
Yeah, Coach Tate is right on it. I mean, that's the really inspiring thing about this story, the journey that Dr. Myles has started, David, because he's done this for it's I call it the 25-year plus overnight success story. He just keeps going. He's the ever-ready bunny, and I'll put him up against most players as far as the stamina just to make it through the day that way. But he believes in the cause, and he gets guys like me and Coach Tate to believe in the cause, and then the players hear the Pied Piper and they come along too. I'm intrigued by the whole thing. It reminds me a lot of, and I've been around a lot of startup leagues, and they've all come and gone, including the XFL twice. So I mean, you can tell me, and you can tell, and that's about as high up, right? They've all the stuff going on, and they're still gone, right? And Myles still coming on because they missed the point. They missed the whole thing, and this is why the MFL is not a competitor trying to be a competitor to the NFL. You know, it's trying to actually the MFL is not just trying, but doing things that the NFL hasn't done and can't do, and that's develop the players to be better people, and then give them a journey or show them the road down to this journey. And we talk about it in this show, and I know a lot of times I'm the lighter skinned guy that's on the show, but these guys have seen the trials and tribulations, and Coach Tate has spent his lifetime in coaching and may never get a chance to coach in the NFL if he chose to, right? But we see it all the time where the opportunities don't come, and that's not the case with the MFL. You know, you have virtually no football playing experience. All right, you played in high school. I played in high school too. I'm with you there, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't become a football player at a higher level. It doesn't mean you don't have the skills, which also means you don't have. It's not a situation where you don't have the skills to become a general manager in any. It doesn't have to. It could be for a Fortune 500 company. You know, I mean, people go on to be CEOs and different things. It's all about the development of the player, which really in the MFL, it's about the person and that development. And that's the thing that keeps me coming back to this. And I think that's a part of the longevity. And when Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr. says something, I would say 99, maybe 99.5. I leave a little bit of margin for error on that. You know, I mean, it's going to be done or it's going to come true. And that's one of the reasons that the MFL has been around for as long as it has. And now you're hitting it at a great time because it's really exploding, if you will. I mean, the MFL is going to a totally different level than it's almost ever been before. And it's just going to keep going up. So that's why guys like Coach Tate are on board, and they're there. You heard him. He's going to mentor. He's going to coach. He's going to do what, bring to the table what he does and what he does best. So that's the thing about that. So you've found the hidden gem. The league has found you as a hidden gem. You've found the other part of the gem that way. So kudos to you, and that's good. But you're you're not alone in your journey, and you're not alone in what has happened, because I see it. I mean, Myles keeps finding players and finding different people to be involved with this league, which is a substantial league with a lot of clout, and it's going about it in a totally different way than the NFL, because NFL is my football brethren will say it stands for not for long, and that's not just something they made up recently. So,
you know, Keith, that's a great statement that you said, and David, I got a question for you after I make this statement here, and that is, as Keith indicated, hey, I probably could have gone to the NFL had I put my mind to it. But once I got a certain age, I realized that the impact that I can have on young men like you at this stage is much more profound than those guys at that stage. I mean, you got to understand the NFL, not only does it stand for not for long, but it's about economics. I mean, you talking about doing the Super Bowl, paying $5 million for a 30-second commercial. Doing regular season, you're paying $1.5 million for a 30-second commercial. We're not under those kind of stresses and strains. So you can officially, there's so many ways you can parlay your size, get into the NFL because it's a dream of yours. May not, I know guys who just wanted to get in there. They wanted to live out the dream, say they played in the NFL. Shucks, you can get on the practice team and still make close to $300,000-$400,000 just because you're on the practice team, and let the team that you on end up going to the Super Bowl. Well, you get a ring. You know, just because you're on the practice team, you still get a chance to stand on the sideline during the games and see whether or not this is really what you want, because those men, and now I must say women, because we got a woman coach, those men and those women are under a lot of stress. And until you get to that level, you really see what kind of stress that they are under. But here's my question I want to ask you. You said something very interesting. You say you chose a school because of what it had to offer you in terms of an education. So tell us about your journey in that at that school education. Did you learn what it was you anticipated that you was going to learn at that school?
I'd say so. So I graduated with a major in finance and a minor in computer science. So I knew that later on in life, on the job that I was going to get potentially, it was going to involve business and computers. So it seemed like that's where the business world is heading, with a whole bunch of new technology and different things like that. So I wanted to make sure that I had what I needed to make sure that I could secure a job, especially with times of COVID. I'm lucky to actually have a job right now. With the major and the minor that I got. So I would say yes. I would say I think Juniata prepared me for what I wanted to do in life. And right now my journey is changing a little bit just because I want to still try to play football. And so hopefully the MFL will keep on doing that for me. And I can hopefully still keep my job as working as a business management analyst.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, the great thing, just to allude to what you were saying, Mr. Tate and Keith, but I would say, like I say, you know, those saying, if you deal it, they'll come. It has to be another mechanism in place for guys that did not get an opportunity, could not be seen because for whatever. Now you're going to be put on a platform where everybody can see you. And like I say, one thing about us, or I say us because it's not just I in the MFL, we're going to get people to see you. People going to come and see you. They ain't got no choice but to come and see you. And more importantly, we had the contacts to say, look, we got a guy you need to look at. Because not making your head no bigger than what it is, because we have to play here who not going to look at a 6'6", 365-pound defensive end? You know what I mean, Keith? You know what I mean? Mr. Tate, I mean, you're going to look at him regardless because, as you stated before, it's a premium. You don't find people that size. So you want to give him a shot because you and I know, all of us, there's some people over there that shouldn't be over there. But because they got that size, and I used to always say the NFL is like a circus. They like big men to do what little men can do. And little men do what big men can do. That's a pretty good assessment.
That's awesome.
Am I right or wrong?
That's awesome.
That's what the NFL is about. Good. And like I say, I want all these young guys that know, I'm just reaching out right now. You're not going if you're out there at a pro day, which only certain ones they're going to let even do the pro day. Don't waste your time. Don't get frustrated. The MFL is signing 60 players per franchise. And we're in cities all over the country. Okay? So this is what you want to be seen because a lot of mindset with most young men, I just want that opportunity. I want somebody to see me. But we want you to know how relevant you are. You don't worry about you getting an opportunity to say, I did it. As opposed to sitting back and say, man, if I had the chance, you're going to get that chance. You're going to get a chance to play, and everybody's going to be watching. You got a chance to put your skills against other players from around the country. Now, like you said, you played in a small school, academic school, you play volleyball. You're going to come up against guys who might have made All-American in one of them big schools. But now it's you and him. Let's see who won it the baddest. So you might pull him up. But in any other situation, you would not have that opportunity. Am I right or wrong, gentlemen?
Totally
Absolutely.
Right.
You're not matched up against a guy that went to a big school because you did not go to one. But the MFL, the playing field is level. It's as level as it could ever be. Now, where you went to school don't mean anything.
And here's something that I'll add to that, Dr. Myles. And I just want everyone to know a mic check here. You're listening to Coach T. Tate, and you got Dr. Myles here. You got Keith Jones and our special guest, David Hibner. A lot of times we take it for granted that everybody is watching us and they could only be listening to us. Unlike David, they are unable to watch us. They got
to staff say, make sure you mention he was signed by the Washington Chiefs.
Well, hey, thank you for adding that as well. But unlike David, they're unable to drive and watch their phone at the same time, so they just listening to us. But nonetheless, here's a great thing about the neutralizer in football. Fundamentals are just that. They fundamentals. No matter what school you go to, as long as you know the fundamentals. And David has shown us through his education, he has the capacity to learn. I mean, you're not going to just major in computer science, in finance, and not be able to learn. So we know he has that capacity. And so once he gets to the NFL, if that is the case, he so chooses to do so, then that means he's going to use his fundamentals to take and advance his opportunity to play in the NFL. But nonetheless, Keith, one thing that you talk about, in terms of playing volleyball, the NFL is all about athletes. It's about athletes. And being a volleyball player means that you have excellent footwork. Talk about, your transition from being a volleyball player to a football player, about the workout that you had as a volleyball player. I mean, jumping. Remember, you see at the NFL Combine, you see guys, what are they doing? They jumping. They trying to see how high they can jump, how loose their hips are. It's no doubt in my mind, you have some natural ability, and all you have to do is add in the knowledge base of being a football player. But what was it like being a volleyball player and what you think on the football side?
So I think some similarities is that explosiveness. So for me as a defensive end, getting off that line and making sure I'm trying to get upfield a little bit on a pass rush, sort of be the same way as in volleyball. You're only moving a couple of feet, but you're trying to move fast, you're trying to move quick. So I would say that part of the exercise, that part of the workouts where we're only doing those quick spurts, those quick sprints, the quick jumps and stuff like that, would really help feed into my football play as well. And also just the endurance of the games too. So, I mean, NFL or MFL, any football game, you're going to have it be played for 60 minutes. And then volleyball games, you can go all the way to 5 sets. So that would take probably an hour and a half, 2 hour long game. So, and you're playing constantly. I'm playing like the entire time. So I think both of those things really would help me and my football skills.
Well, it's no doubt. And I just want to add, a lot of times you saw Karate Kid and he got frustrated with his master. You're telling him to wipe these windows. And he's like, I don't want to wipe these windows. And he found out that was a part of a karate move. Well, let me tell you, you got something that a lot of football players don't have. A lot of them don't have. And what you have that's very unique for you, hand and eye coordination. You pounding on that ball. Can you imagine somebody hitting that ball, and that ball sometimes can come at you at a rate of 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. And that means your hands got to be in the proper position in order to hit it back over the net, let alone stop it from busting you in the face. So just keep that in mind. You got some skills that football play, and I can imagine your big old hand smacking somebody up against a football helmet as well. Dr. Myles can tell you about that.
Well, for most young men, I would say that being a laboratory of change, we're giving y'all an opportunity. You said you want an opportunity, Keith. Okay, we're going to give you an opportunity to make a minor professional team. We're not the other league. We're not trying to be them. They who they are, we who we are. That's the problem. A lot of people get into this business. They have no identity. We know our identity. We know who we are. We're not trying to be no one else other than us. We're good at being us. You know what I mean? Because when you start trying to be something that you're not, then you start making mistakes. Therefore, I tell a lot of players that this is a great opportunity that you're not going to find outside of college or professional football. You're not going to find this. And for guys that feel like, well, the great thing about this, you got a choice in life. You ain't got to come. If you don't want to win, you ain't got to come. But you're looking at this young man here. He's on his way home from work. He just signed with the Washington Chiefs. He could be no happy. Okay, the process and the thought of let me get into this, that part is over now. You've been there. You know already signed. You ready to go. You ready to go in camp. In the next few weeks, you'll be going in camp. So that's the great thing about it. And leading up to that is the great part. I think that within itself is just being a part of something that big. And I know it's new to you, and you still giggling because you still couldn't fathom the fact that they said, I never knew about this. And as I read more and more, you know how you see something good, gentlemen, and you try to find something wrong with it. You know what I mean? It got to be something wrong with it. It got to be. Well, I guarantee you, somebody out there is going to play a hate on us, but we don't care because we don't bother them. We just keep doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? If you worry about, you have people talking negatively all about the NFL. You think they care? You don't care. They don't care.
Not one bit.
You know what I mean? Not one bit. So I want to say to young players like yourself, Dave, and the ones we've been signing, man, we're just excited about giving you guys an opportunity we can sharpen your skills, help you with your technique, show you how to do things the proper way. Stop looking at Channel 9 there. Stop doing that. You know, that's don't look at that. Don't look at Channel 7, because we, you know, always saying, not pointing the finger at nobody. Technique, and it's different things that being taught in different levels. I hate the trail technique. If you know, you guys know about football, you know what that is. Trail technique. You can't come with nobody trailing them. But that's some in that high level teaches them. I don't understand that, but then again, who am I? I'm over here. But I tell you what, we know what we're teaching you over here. We teaching you technique. You know, we have a company over here called a good friend of mine have it, Cover One. I don't know if you heard of that company or not. And that's what he teaches, defensive backs. You laugh because you must know Omar, Mr. Tate. Yeah, he had Cover One. His son, the coach at one of the and they teach, how to cover one. You know, because you don't know what you're doing, you kind of lost. Mr. Tate, you gonna say something?
Well, no, I just was going to say, no, I don't know Omar, but you know, I'm in football, so I know what cover one, cover two, cover three. I know
it's called Cover One.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Yeah,
it's a great name.
Guys in the league until he works with them and everything. I mean, so you're not just coming here to play football. We have other components to the MFL, but we're gonna teach you to play properly. We're going to teach you the proper techniques, not what you see on TV and all that. We're going to teach you the proper techniques. And I guarantee you, people going to be shocked when they come to the game. They ain't going to see nobody try to reach and grab nobody. It's covered. You know, football is knowing what to do and where to go. That's just football. You know, basic football. People don't understand that. Football is a collision sport. Just don't fool nobody. You know, it's a collision sport. And all is very important. Jamie or Bobby tell you technique. You know, Reggie White had a move that he come across. You see the offensive tackle going that way, like somebody just picked him up and threw him somewhere. It was all in leverage and the technique that he used. And that's something that a lot of people are not fundamentally sound. And you see a lot of players that just naturally gifted. They're the worst players to coach. Am I right or wrong? If y'all know it, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Tate? Because they're naturally gifted. But if you had to really teach them technique, now just talking about people, and I can say this, Darryl Green, a friend of mine, Darryl Green he had the worst technique in the world, but he had something you couldn't replace, and that's speed. Speed kills. So even a mistake he can make up for it because speed kills. Okay? Then you had some people that could play man-to-man. They ain't had no foot speed. Pat Fisher, a lot of people say what they want. He was my hero. Pat Fisher was 5'7" and could cover you like a cheap suit. Now, he had the speed, but because he was so fundamentally sound, who would take the best receivers all the time? Pat Fisher. If you looked at him, you said, I'm going to kill this guy. No, you wasn't. Because Pat Fisher will look at you and tell you, say, for what you going to do today, you should have bought a ticket. But he wasn't that type of guy that talked that rhetoric. But if you ever watch Pat Fisher, fundamentally, he was sound. You remember him, right, y'all? You remember the little cornerback looked like you, Mr. Tate, looked like he should. If you see him in regular clothes, he looked like a little teller at the bank or something.
Come on, man, that'll be insult me as a Washington football fan that I didn't know Pat Fisher.
Great cover people, you know, and I can go back. I'll be dating myself, but you know, you learn from the best, and you look at people in Houston. Joe Lavender, these people like that, man, that could really. Lynn Bonnie, I ain't gonna say no more because everybody gonna think I'm too old. But anyway,
that's right, because you ain't named nobody in the 20s.
Those are playing greats. Come on,
you know, Lester Hayes. A lot of people don't know. They thought that stick him and help them. That's just to help them intercept the ball. But cover-wise, he could cover. His problem was holding on with the ball when he tried to intercept it. So he came up with that and they had to get rid of that. But you know, in all seriousness, these were some great players and technique. They were sound. They were sound. But to look at them, they wasn't, you know what I mean? So we want people to know, we want to teach these young men over here technique. technique. That's the key to it all. As opposed to just running around, trying to look good. It's about winning, but you have to know how to win. You don't keep looking at the scoreboard and you're down, because that could be like an anvil on your back, looking at that, you're down too.
Right.
So these are some of the things that talking to people, we want them to understand we teach a technique. We're not just come out here and you're going to do, nah, that's not what we're doing. We teach you guys next, because we want you to go to whatever level you want to go, to be it the National Football League or the CFL, but they're going to say the same thing they say about the dance team member. They know their craft when they get there. It's easier for them, because the NFL want a turnkey thing anyway. They don't want to be teaching a whole bunch of nothing. If you come with it, or you got it, or you don't. Keep.
Yeah, that's a great point there, because they're not going to develop you as a player. Hopefully, you will develop as a player, but they're not there to develop you. And if you can't get the job done, it's next. It's the word next. I mean, that's the way it goes, and it really is based on what you can give at that time, and that's how the NFL operates. But that doesn't mean that, like, Dave, you're starting a whole new journey. I mean, you still have 4 years of eligibility for football at college, but to go back to college now, unless you're getting your master's, you don't have time for football in college. As great as experiences would be at some different school than you graduated from, because they don't have football. But that's not. It's time to take the next level step, and then you get to the next point. But this is an opportunity for you to bring something to the table, but also for guys like, and Myles will mentor too, but like Coach Tate to give you his expertise, because these guys, hey, he may have not coached in the NFL, he may not even there are coaches that come on that haven't even coached in college, but that doesn't mean they don't know what they're doing and how to coach players and how to make them better, how to bring the best out of the person. That's what the MFL is as well.
Well, you say something real interesting, Keith, about the fact that he will have a great opportunity under no stress imposed on him to do no more than what he expects from himself. I mean, certainly the MFL, and David, I don't want you to think that it's going to be easy. Again, the body follows the mind. So you're going to have to put in your mind the sacrifice and the commitment, and no way that you're going to be around other MFL players or any of us, Keith or Dr. Myles, and all of a sudden become this awesome football player. What you're going to have to do is make the determination yourself, make the decision. And based on that determination and that decision, you're going to have to put in a lot of work. I mean, clearly practice is practice with the MFL, but they talk about the stories all the time of the great players in the NFL. I mean, Jerry Rice had just won a Super Bowl, and the next day people had cleaned out their lockers and all this kind of stuff. Jerry Rice was in the back working out. And they say, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm working out for the next season." This guy, Walter Payton, they talk about the sacrifice and the commitment that Walter Payton was making. I mean, and the stories go on and on and on. So what you're going to have to do is use that awesome mind of yours, because we already know you're an intellectual. You already understand, the difference between right and wrong, whether or not you're going to make a commitment or not make a commitment. But what the Laboratory of Change / MFL is going to offer you is that opportunity to take whatever that dream is of yours, understanding that you're going to have to put in an enormous amount of work. I mean, you're going to have to put in the work. You may want to do some additional learning and get a certification. Well, you're going to be out on the football field when the lights are getting dim with a flashlight, working on your skills and reading your book. That's just what you have to do as a player. But I can't say it enough. Like Keith or Dr. Myles, welcome to the MFL.
You know,
Thank you.
I call a mentor of mine. I only met him a few times, but the great Vince Lombardi said, "He who pays the price." Gentlemen, you remember that statement, Keith? He who pays the price
Coach.
win championships.
Coach was only in DC coaching. I was young then, but for 1 year, and it was a shame. And I've helped support the Lombardi Cancer Center and other Lombardi entities for a long, long time now. But a very impactful coach. I mean, that was the thing about that's why his name is on the Super Bowl trophy, in my opinion. I mean, he was personification of not only a great coach but a great person, a great man. So if you can aspire to be somebody like Lombardi, you're never doing anything wrong. As far as David, as far as you go, I see a number of things. First of all, I've already seen the dedication, because one of the first things you said is I work out all the time with my brother and my dad. So that was a tell. The intellectual side says, oh, maybe this is a team leader. It could be a C on the jersey or something like that. Worst case, you're going to be a positive influence on your coach. You could be an on-field type of coach. I mean, guys like Coach Tate are always looking for field leaders and guys to make sure that the guys on the field have a true understanding of where they should be for a certain play, and you come across as that kind of guy, and that's maybe something you never thought about, but it just some people just step forward and show that. It's like Myles. If you were to meet him on the street, nice enough guy and stuff, you would never know that he was the mastermind behind the empire that is the MFL.
And I appreciate that, but gentlemen, it's so important that these young men understand that we here also looking at them beyond the field as well. We're gonna be there for you guys, but it's a lot of guys see so much talent coming, and this month is going. April is going to be the month that all the different all the different franchises are having combines starting this week, next week. They're gonna be having. We're gonna be ready to go up the wall. And more importantly, gentlemen, it's the opportunity that they was asking for. A lot of people might have a chip on their shoulder. Well, bring it here, because we're gonna give you the opportunity. So, I'm excited about this. I'm glad to have my guests. Always a pleasure. Mr. Tate, always a pleasure, Keith. And Dave, we'll have you guys on the show. We're gonna be bringing all the guys on. Different guys get signed. Pictures be going up from the combine. You haven't seen them, you'll see them up. But I'm excited about the fact that the people that work with us with the MFL, like a Mr. Tate, with the being that doing the things he do in terms of advising us on a lot of things, because I tell people in a minute, I don't have all the answers. I'm the man behind the vision, but as you guys in front, like yourself, keep doing the reporting, getting the stories that a lot of people don't generally hear from these players. We're going to give these players an opportunity, and like I said, I'm excited. This has been another edition of Inside the MFL. I have Coach Tate with us today. I want to thank you. And Coach Keith, always, I want to thank you, Dave. But I know you're looking forward to coming into camp, young man. I know your people are excited for you. But this is the Dr. Richard Myles Sr. And I want to say thank y'all for joining another edition of Inside the MFL. We'll see you on Friday. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Let's take that. See the